Hello, hello. Welcome to Team Aquarius and the Astrology Podcast. I'm your regular host, Lacey Wester, and
And
with
I'm
me
your
today,
irregular
yeah,
host.
and now I'm here with the irregular host, Kaylee Wester, who's also an Aquarius sun. Yay.
Yay!
So nice. So today
Aquarius.
we're talking about, hey, Kaylee, read me. Because everybody likes to be read. I love to be read.
Yeah, we're just gonna show how we use astrology to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I'll share
Yeah.
my screen and I'll share my chart and then roast away.
Yeah. Ah, yes. My good friend Lacey.
Yes.
um, so yeah, the when I'm reading a chart, the things I look for first are typically the big six. Uh, just because as someone who isn't super fluent in astrology, it's easiest to pick out the things you know,
Yeah.
and that'll help you figure out the things you don't. And so I know generally houses, signs, and planets. So I like to look at the big six, and yeah, that from there I just kind of figure the rest out. So big three is the sun in Aquarius, obviously. Um, and yeah, it's in the 11th house. Is that where
That's it.
it is?
That's where she be at
Yeah,
home. Mm-hmm.
where she be. So
Mm-hmm.
very, very friendly, very, very out there uh with your creative expression. Like if the yeah. Yeah, no, if the sun is at who you are at your core you are a very friendly, outgoing, weird individual.
Yeah.
Just a bit strange. um a real Adams family type.
Yes.
Yeah, and I see the moon is in Aries and the rising is in Aries. And the rising is always going to be in the first house, which is a good rule of thumb. Um, but yeah, so your inner world and how you present yourself to the world is the same thing. You just open book. It's just like you just what you see is what you get. Emotions on the sleeve. Um, very quick to react, very quick to feel and to express those feelings. Um, just very out there. But yeah, and very passionate. It's like a bomb, a volcano. Let's go to war. I want a sword. Yeah, let me explode. Yeah, that's how you are. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Mercury is your Mercury with your sun? Wow. So you just the way you express yourself is exactly who you are. There's complete transparency. It's just you can't not. Also, love of talking. Yeah. Like love of yeah, like love of sharing information, especially about yourself.
Yeah.
like
It's real. If
yeah,
you want me to talk to you, get me to talk about myself.
yeah, that's you are probably this is a bit of a read, but you're probably the kind of person to fall in love with your therapist.
Hard, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand
um
me.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the way you communicate and the way that you analyze or filter things is also who you are at your core.
It's true.
And your emotions, your inner world, your innermost, deepest thoughts and feelings, and how you express yourself to the world and the way people view you. It's the same thing. Like
Right.
that make for a very passionate individual. And very honest.
Mhm.
Um, I said what I said. I'll back it up and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
yeah.
I said it because I've thought it through.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you also have Venus in Pisces in the 12th house. Love your enemies.
Mhm.
Um yeah, so the way that you love and express love and feel love and the things you find aesthetically pleasing and beautiful about the world are very Venusian. It's happy there. It's Pisces is very flowy fabrics and flowers and like let's go skinny dipping under the full moon covered in jewelry. Like
Oh,
that's
yes.
like that's just like
Want to go to there. Yes.
want to go to yeah, it's like just you are Venus. You are Venus and you have no idea. like, like you were born out of a clamshell out of the sea, you know? Like that's
Right. A story I would
yeah.
find out about later. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, but yes, also love of animals and small creatures, love of everyone. Just love. Also, wanting to be the hero in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's definitely like I want to be your knight in shining armor, but in a pretty dress, preferably.
Hard. Hard. Yes.
Yeah, I want yeah. Um Also, love would be the greatest thing in the world, but also the worst tragedy imaginable. And yeah, it's so dramatic. It's so Shakespearean, really. It's like a great Greek tragedy
Yeah.
is how you love. You love like
No
a
idea.
Greek tragedy,
Yeah.
which is the most like beautiful and devastating thing. Like, oh,
Exactly.
I get why you like that Queen of Camelot book now. That makes sense. That's your Venus and Pisces right there. That is like so, oh my God. That is like
Right. I know.
wow.
It's like I love and feel dutiful to my country and to King Arthur, but then there's a Lancelot involved. Damn.
Dude, and he just like smiles at me and it's weird. I don't know. Like,
And he also is like longing to sacrifice himself for his right
he's
duty.
just
Yeah,
he just makes me such a martyr. I don't know what's going on here.
totally.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like in a hot way.
I know. In the hottest of ways, in the most irresistible of ways, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's also you don't know what your type is to save your life. You can't figure it out. It's
Yeah.
it's like it's like maybe something of authority, but you can't quite place that either.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really have a type, you don't really know what you're looking for. It's just like it shows up and you see it and you're like that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one works.
I feel that one.
That one
Yeah.
works. I
Yeah.
like that.
Totally.
Yeah, I would say it's a strange combination of especially yeah, with the Mars and Virgo of yeah, that's Mars and Jupiter together in Virgo
And
in the
Saturn.
6th house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, really like likes to move around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Restless.
very, very in tune with your body and what your body is feeling. Or like that's something you're conscious of or consistently wanting to be conscious of.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just like also some kind of interest in health.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. You were a life coach for a strong period of time.
Yeah.
It's like the body is not something you like in terms of a deep surgical medical sense, but it's something that you like you can understand uh your body day to day in a way that other people just don't. Like that's interesting. And also that really mellows out your Aries bits.
Yeah.
Um, cause wow.
Wow. I know.
But yeah, no, the Mars and the Venus combo, like that just gives the energy of like my sexuality is goddess, whoever worships me. But also I have no idea who worships me. I can't figure it out.
Maybe everyone does. And then I don't know who to give attention to. Yeah.
Yeah. Like also saying no can be a little hard.
Yes. Because I don't
It's
know.
like
Right? It could be. Yeah.
also boundaries. No. Who's that?
What are you?
It's not something you're consciously pushing or something you're consciously putting up. It's just it like you wouldn't consciously have a framework or understanding or idea around certain boundaries. Um
Yeah.
and that would make you very confused. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
I often people will describe like people cry around me, right? And then I won't
tell
under
me what-
yeah, I know, right? I won't understand why, but it's because I'm Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus over here in Scorpio. So like digging, investigating. I'm just I feel like I'm just asking questions, right? I'm just pushing, but I don't feel like I'm
you
pushing. Yeah.
you just have a forced field. Like like you just have like this people enter this force field around you and it's like emotions come out and like all this stuff comes out all of a sudden. You just like know how to get it out of people.
Yeah, like just happens.
Um
Hmm.
yeah.
And in fact, I don't
And
understand when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that." I'm like, "What does that even feel like?" I always want to talk about
yeah,
that.
you're like I could talk all day.
Yes. What do you mean I don't want
What
to
do
talk
you
about it?
mean?
Oh, if we're hitting a
Yeah.
nerve, that's when you dig harder, right?
As an eighth house bitch,
Yeah.
nah. um yeah,
Mhm.
that's how it goes. You also have do you also have Eros in Aries?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, you're really just like I'm ready to fall in love. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
fucking love love.
yeah, right. It's yeah, that impulsive, quick to
I don't know.
infatuate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know who you are, but I'm in love. Like you, I'm down. You're cool.
So now the interesting thing about that is if I'm really infatuated, then this Mars, it's all virginal, right? It's all that at an arm's distance. So like when I do infatuate and it does happen immediately, it's like I just know it and it's the one person, it's like the one thing, but it's like it's locked in
Like
there.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that's locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is
You
also
also
like sexual. Like if I
yeah,
if I have the intention or the knowing that it's going to happen, then it's easy for me to just engage that. But it has to
just
be from a friendship. I have to already know you somehow. Yeah.
yeah, you have to have some kind of communication or connection. You
Yeah.
can't do the whole sup you up.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. You gotta
No.
meet up, you got food or something, you gotta
Right.
communicate and
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, well also you're safe, which makes sense.
Yes.
Um
Yes, I have to think you're
So
yeah.
yeah, it's like you really gotta prove how smart you are.
True. It's so true.
Yeah.
I cannot get it up for people who I don't respect or I feel aren't reaching for understanding themselves. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's you, yeah, gotta be, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you gotta be a professor or something.
Yes.
Um,
A teacher.
yeah.
A teacher is my kink a
Yeah.
little bit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
The sapio. Yeah,
yeah.
sapiosexual. That's
Yeah.
the attraction to wit and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a thing. Like that's the main thing that you're attracted to is, and that would make sense. Um, yeah, you also have Saturn in Virgo. Wow, you have, is that so you have Black Moon Lilith,
Yep.
Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter
Mhm.
all in the sixth house of day-to-day life in Virgo, which is the most like overthinky, self-doubty, um, obsessive, calculating ADHD.
I
like
mean,
that's
I would argue that Scorpio is more calculating, but yes, Mars who
that's
Carly rules, I guess.
okay.
But yeah.
That's Scorpio calculates for self, Virgo calculates for other. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Hmm.
So like Virgo is acts of service. It's like every Virgo I know is drastically different, but they all have the same theme of like willing to put in the effort of acts of service, and like really cares about the people that are in their lives, and like also could never hurt a fly. That's the other thing I've found. Like I've never met a Virgo that was like mean, really. Like it's like they're all really chill and weirdly bisexual. But like yeah.
Right. Right.
Um but yeah, and so yeah, no. So that would be like you would be in like a Virgo spiral all the time.
Hmm. Right.
Like constantly like did I
Yeah.
do this right? Did
Constant.
I like just constantly being like, "Oh, remember that thing you said in 3rd grade?
Yeah.
That's going to haunt you forever now."
Yeah.
Like, it'd be a lot of stuff like that. It'd be
It does. It
like
does.
holds grudges against embarrassment also would be a thing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Mm.
like like you've mentioned to me like you kind of can't read your old journals because
Yeah.
they're just so cringy.
Got
And it's like it doesn't matter how much time you put between when you wrote it down and when you look at it again, you're always gonna feel some kind of way.
it. Yeah.
Like I could read my cringy journals from childhood and be like, this is really funny. Here, look at it. Like this is hilarious.
Mostly has to do with ones where I'm talking about a relationship. If I'm rereading that, then that will feel more like, oh God, I can't believe I said that out loud, you know? Like,
Yeah.
would I feel it? Hell yeah.
well,
But yeah.
well, Pisces is such like so pining. It's so much pining, so much longing, so much despair.
Hmm.
It's like there's something so deep and beautiful about waiting for someone.
Hmm.
It's
Right.
very Jane Austen, very Bridgerton.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so it would make sense that it would be like, huh. It's like I
Right.
can't believe I ever felt that intensely about this kind of person. Whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And for do-gooders,
Um,
right? If the person is a do-gooder, I'm a sucker, right? Like, I'll be like, oh my
yeah,
God, you're
you
doing so many good things in the world. Let's fuck. You know what I mean? Right? Like,
yeah, it's like OMG.
yeah.
So my type. Like that's so you. That's
Yeah, yeah,
you
right. Because
do love
Aries is the warrior, so it's almost like a at home with warriors, or like, you know.
you love you love golden retriever energy.
I do.
No, golden retrievers are too dumb.
Yeah, they're a little bit too dumb. But I mean,
You
like,
love like
but that element, right? Like,
but like that whole thing of like of like the lawful fighter, the like
mhm.
um the soldier that'll like I'll fight for you, I'll die, like I have this harsh thing that like I'm really like I have this thing I'm so loyal to.
Mhm.
It like is an example of how loyal that person could possibly be to you, and I think that that is something that you enjoy a bit. Like,
Yeah, the loyalty or yeah.
yeah, just like the loyalty and the willingness and like the action that can be taken. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you also have, what is that, Pluto and Libra?
Yeah.
Pluto in Libra. So disruptions around, oh, it's in the seventh house too. Yeah, so you would have major disruptions and life changes around boundaries, around right and wrong,
Mm-hmm.
uh, around um
Opposite.
kind of, yeah, it's like it's a constant pendulum swing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are constantly in the pendulum swing. You can't mellow out. It's one or the other. You're
Right.
constantly going.
It's like a
It's just,
lifelong, yeah, it's a lifelong study in balance, right? Balance, who
yeah.
am I and
That's,
who is other, and
yeah.
not
It's like trying to
controlling my
figure
other. Right.
that out. Yeah, very, yeah, trying to weigh the scales. That's like it's the feather in the heart thing, you know? It's like you're constantly conscious of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I know.
Yeah.
Chiron and Taurus, so uh finances and possessions and um kind of also sometimes Venusian themes, so just like being a woman
Mhm.
would have some trauma around it.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also because of the second house, because isn't Chiron also like the things we cherish about childhood?
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, a love of possessions from childhood, which would make sense. You do have like strawberry shortcake and like
Yeah.
She-Ra toys, and like you have, I mean, your husband built you a lightsaber
You know.
like that has the last unicorn on it. Like that's a very
Yeah. With the Shira, with the Shira, I am shit.
yeah, that's like the most like childhood thing.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's very that. Yeah, that's I'm trying to look at, oh, Neptune in Sagittarius
Mhm.
in the ninth.
Mhm.
Neptune is blurry boundaries and like indulgence, right? That's like,
Yeah, escaping, indulging in escaping,
yeah,
right? I'm watching movies all day. I'm reading a book all day. I am, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's you so you have that uh in knowledge, like you escape through knowledge and through parties and through, so uh yeah, it's like you escape through learning about, I wouldn't say politics, but like other countries
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
History for sure, philosophy,
Yes.
um those kind of ninth house
Hmm.
vibes, and also very Sagittarius
Hmm.
vibes. Sagittarius is like party.
Hmm.
That's like that's, you know, fun. That's like partying with people from other countries kind of energy. Like
Yeah.
different perspectives, like escaping through different perspectives.
Right.
Um
Hmm.
and like, yeah, that would be a thing. And like so studying would also be a huge like passing the time or indulging in studying. Like like studying's your drug, you know? Like
Yeah, it is big time.
like yeah,
Big time to fall asleep.
that's
I'm watching ancient history documentaries, right? Like I enjoy it
yeah,
and I fall asleep peacefully hearing about Ramses II, right? Or Cleopatra.
yeah, and it's like yeah, you're just like you know what would really make me, real drift off to sleep nice and peacefully is learning about Anne Boleyn tonight.
Yeah,
You know
yes.
what? I'm just whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's like I have a fantasy of the world being one. Yeah, like all the cultures of the world finding the roots of that make us all blur together, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been
Um,
described. Uh,
yeah, for
but my
sure.
higher education is spiritual, right? My higher education is philosophy. My higher education is like, oh my God, that song changed my world just now.
Yeah,
Right?
that's very
That,
true.
oh my God, I love what Alan Watts said about this, right? Oh my God, I love what, Rumi says about this, what Jesus says about this. And then they all blur together into this, oh my gosh, I feel elevated, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then where's your north node?
North Node, Leo.
Leo. Oh, you got to be more like me.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
Learn
That's
from your
right.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like so North Node is like what we're headed towards in life or like what we're destined to become or like what we need to work towards
Right.
or like go towards, move forward
Totally.
into.
Yeah, that's
It's
totally.
like what we need to do to access the next life almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to be more sparkly and more confident
What?
and
Oh, yeah.
fun and more in command. You're a queen.
Yes.
Be the empress, you know? Like,
Yes.
that's what you got to work towards. Where's your south node? Oh, in Aquarius? Because it's yeah. So south node, you've been weird.
Yeah.
You've hermited enough. Come on.
Yes.
You've already traveled to other planets. You've already,
All right.
looked around, seen the world, and you've already figured out the patterns. Like you've already done that shit. You don't need to keep doing it. Like it's like you can like that's a great thing to know about yourself that you have that knowledge just in your intuition.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love
Um
how you put it that way. Wow. That actually changes my mind about things. Thank you.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's how I think about it. Like South Node is like that's where I've been.
Yeah.
Like this is something I've been learned. Like I know that about myself. Like I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It kind
I
of
don't
means
need
then like intuitively, then I just need to shine it, be it, right? It's like I don't have to prove
yeah.
it anymore. I'm the ruler, say do it, you know?
Yeah, it's like you've already learned. It's like you've been through school, you have a doctorate. Come on.
I can't
Like,
putting that. That's amazing.
like that's what it is. That's
Yeah,
basically it's like
that's rad.
shine, bitch. Like be more confident. Um
Mhm.
that's kind of how I view that kind of energy. And then I don't remember what DC means.
DC is so AC is us, the first house, ego. DC is other relationships, marriage partner, right?
Oh, and yours is Libra, pushing the boundaries of what relationships mean.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah. Also, but yeah, something about you naturally gets into relationships. Commitment girly. I mean, it's not like you've been married to the same person for what, 20 years? 22?
What are we in? 2024. In 2025, it'll be 22 years. Yeah. January.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll be 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, 22 because we had been married 2 years when you were born. So yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And pushing
Yeah.
those boundaries, right? So this is like Libra being the least straight of the zodiac, like being that. It's like there's so much beauty in so many people, right? And there's this loyalty and commitment, but the partner, the husband is bisexual. We're pushing those
Yeah.
relationships, right? We
Yeah.
right? And then I have like sort of more poly leanings, right? Like more than
Mhm.
just, there's two, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah,
it's,
you definitely have that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. And then the VX, I don't know what that is.
So VX is vertex. That's like a second other. So it's like I have two DCs. This is two
Oh, and
partners.
they're yeah, okay. That makes sense for you.
Yeah,
That's
right. But only you would know that, right? Like only you would know because we've talked. I tell you everything, so like all the
yeah,
things.
that's
Mhm.
that's just what it is.
And then one of them is so I have Jupiter, which is like husband here, and then Venus, which is in a more in Pisces, right? Which is a more hidden, more psychic, possibly more spiritual something in nature, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then yeah, I'm just kind of trying to see what else I remember.
Hmm. It's kind of fun doing a read, right? You're just like, oh, I don't know. And then when you're doing a reading, you're giving themes, right? You're like, so it would be like, this is the theme. And it's kind of fun actually being read because I do readings all the time, right? And so
Yeah,
being
yeah.
read and hearing your filter of the thing that I'm saying, it's kind of cool when you say something like the way you were just describing that South Node. It was like,
Hmm.
oh, I like how you put that. Like, oh, that resonates, and um, so yeah, the way you're describing, you're saying things. I see a thing that I see in clients' faces where I'll be saying something and I'm saying like definitions, themes, I don't have this, and then the person is like, "Oh my God, I'm getting it. I do know what you're talking about." So it's kind of fun to be the person on the other end
Yeah,
receiving it and then having to be like, "Oh yeah, you're saying that, but really the way it translates is she's trying to translate." Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's interesting.
I love that also
Astrology
for
is
the
fun.
first time you're like, oh my God, you have Saturn and Mars. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's
Agreed.
anxiety state. I'm like, shut up. Right. Yeah, self-doubt, right? That self-talk. And
Like
so
it's really your whole chart gives the energy of that New Girl quote where Schmidt and Jess are talking to each other, and Schmidt's like, "So you just go around thinking about what everyone else is feeling all the time?" And she's like, "Yeah, don't you?" And he's like, "No. How do you get anything done? It's very hard." Like,
yeah,
that's
yes. It's totally true, right? And so I have to have having all this Virgo, then I really
Mhm.
have to lean into that Venus, and then lean
Yeah.
into my ego and be like, no, we're choosing you today.
Yeah,
We
that's
are, going to pour into you today. So yeah.
self-care is important.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, little
Well,
treat mentality. You would benefit heavily from little treat mentality.
yes, yes.
I don't
Yeah.
say that often, but that's like a thing that
Mhm.
you should do that. Just
I buy
like a
myself,
little
yeah, yeah, I do that. I'll
like
buy myself
that's
chocolate
every time.
bar. Yeah. Mhm.
It's like every time it's like, yeah, like I do little treatment. It's like I do something I know I'm not gonna want to do, or like, oh, I've really been working hard recently and I have like $5 in my pocket. I'm gonna go get a little treat. It's
Yeah.
like I'm gonna get a new crystal. I'm gonna get a new this. I'm gonna do that.
Yes, exactly.
Just treat myself a little bit. I'm gonna go to the movies, you
Yes,
know?
exactly. Um, do you have any other thoughts? Any last thoughts? Any final thoughts? Agreed.
um my other bit of advice would be if your brain gets real loud, out loud, say to yourself, shut the fuck up, brain.
Yes, brilliant, brilliant.
I do that a lot. When things get overwhelming, I just go I'll do it in public too. I'm just like all of a sudden I'll have like an intrusive thought, or I'll think something negative, or like
Sure.
something really weird and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
self-pitying or
Yeah, yeah.
and I just I immediately I'm like, shut the fuck up, brain. Like ew.
Fuck
Like,
up, brain. My mentor calls it doming her brain. She'll be like, "You can sit
yeah,
down now," you know. And
yeah,
I'm like, "Ooh,
that's yes,
that's
that's what you gotta do. That's you gotta that's the energy you gotta step into.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
Dom yourself.
Yeah, dom yourself and be that Leo leader, right? So it's interesting that I have all this. I have to serve, right? I am a slave to serving, right? Like I have to. And so then I got that Leo North Node karma of be the ruler, let others serve you. And it's like, what? What? You know?
Yeah, it's like sit back, let things happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as someone with prominent Leo who is also friends with a lot of prominent Leo, it's like it's like we really just naturally are able to, get people to do things for us around us. Like,
Yes. No, that's
and that's like tap into it. Like, I don't know. I
yeah, give
just
more orders. That's interesting, right? Because that actually
or
would help
yeah,
me. I will tend to do all the things myself as a
nah,
way of
just
like, oh, I don't want anybody else to be bothered with this, right? But a royal person would never say that, right? Royalty would be
don't
like,
even
do this.
like I don't even ask. I'm never like, oh, do you think you could get me a glass of water? I'll straight up be like, hey, my water's right there.
Yeah.
You want to hand it to me? Like I'll be like, or I'll be like, hey, refill my water, or like, something like that. And then
Yeah.
someone automatically is like, yeah, obviously.
I
Like,
definitely could learn a thing or two from you and Titus, right? Titus, your brother, Leo sun, you Leo moon, right? So I have these karmic reminders all the time of be more like them, in this way,
yeah.
which I really appreciate. And I love knowing that and observing that. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, something that I kind of always think about too is like, because I know you've mentioned like, oh, I don't want to like make anyone uncomfortable with fashion choices, or like, oh, I don't know about wearing this or doing this. And it's like, in my brain, I don't even think about it. I'm just like, do I like it? Then why would anyone hate it? Like, I also everyone is so worried about themselves. No one genuinely cares. No one is looking at you and saying those things or thinking those things.
well,
Like we are our harshest critics.
yes. So
And
my Virgo stuff back in the day would judge people, would be like, I can't believe she's wearing that. Doesn't she know it's like borderline see through? Like, so those old judgments in my mind will come up.
yeah.
And so sometimes I'll be like, I'll look at myself in the mirror before I leave and I'll be all, oh my God, you look so fucking good right now. Right. Like I will be like, oh, I love how I look. And then as I'm out and people are looking at me, I go, are they looking at me in a good way, bad way? All of a sudden I feel naked. I don't know if I like this, so it's
Attention is attention.
Leo, the Leo.
Yeah, I'm like
Oh my God.
I'm
Another tangent.
like
Tangent.
any publicity is good publicity.
Oh my
That's
God.
I don't know.
Love you. I need to like I'm gonna post that on my mirror. Any publicity is good publicity, and straight up gonna write that.
You should, yeah. It's like I genuinely yeah, I'll just straight up all my thought is always, is this on brand for me? That's
Mhm.
usually my thought process.
That's a
It's
very
like
good.
I care less about what people think of me like in general, and I care more that I'm creating a cohesive brand of myself. Like
That about Leos as
so
well. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I care a lot more about like I'm gonna look this certain level of stunning like
Of
every day.
stunning. Because the
Stunning.
assumption is
Yeah,
stunning, right?
yeah. No, well, because whatever I do is gonna be great. So like it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. As long as I enjoy it, I want to enjoy it. Like so it's
I love
like
you. You're amazing.
I'm an experience. Leo is an experience, not just a personality trait.
I, yes.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
live in the experience that you are, uh, and you'll find a lot more peace.
True. Well, thank you so much for reading me. I love that. I love that in that reading too, you the empathetic parts that you have where you're like, you know, right? It's like
Yeah.
I do the same thing when I'm falling into a chart, right? I'll be like, like I start
Yeah.
to think about it,
When
you know.
I when I look at people's charts, I can like I'm at a point where I can see a lot more than people want me to see. And I so it's like I never voiced it, but I'm always like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have
Like
two. Yeah, right.
my friend the other day showed me her chart, and I was just like, at one point I just went, "Aw," and
Uh,
she was like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing."
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
I just, I was just like, but you have a Virgo moon." Oh, like yeah,
Right? Like, oh, you're so hard on yourself, right? Like, that's so cute.
you're so,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I do
yeah,
the same thing. I'll be all, oh, I do the same exact thing. Or if I see somebody who has like a lot of, if I see somebody who has a lot of energy in one part of their chart, and then when there's a opposition, it could feel like, oh man, when the sun is transiting those opposites of you, life must feel hard, you know? That would be a lot,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, it's like we're related or something.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me and reading me. That was brilliant. You're amazing. And you gave me new things to think about, right? And I do it all the time. So I love it.
Are you gonna read me, or are we just doing this?
Well, I mean, I can read you if you want, but I was just thinking, like, want me to do a quick read of you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, cool. We'll do it. I just like was like, whatever. All right, Luna. But just remember, I'm going to say what I see. Okay.
I know.
It's all right. I look at you all. I've looked at your chart so many times. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
of
no,
course.
it's like
Mhm.
yeah, it's I've given you permission to share my chart.
Right. Yeah. So the first thing that I notice when I look at your chart is all this energy up here, right? Seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. So as you interact with other people, right, you're going to have profound changes in your life. Um, you have a ninth house son. That tells me automatically that your father figure, if I didn't know already, was either involved in law enforcement, politics, teaching, or religion, right? Was a leader in some way. And your father was a pastor when you were born. So, yes,
Yep.
right? We've got Neptune here. We are definitely going to have a love of escaping. Stories and fantasy stories will come easily for you, and you will have a fun time creating not just a storyline, but a whole world, a whole community. Yeah, it's
Yep.
more than just Gemini story. It is a community.
Yeah,
Yes.
big time.
Yeah.
That's yeah, I can't just make a story. It's an entire existence.
Yeah, it's
Uh
an empire. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's
and you'll
yeah,
have like the
and
same. Mhm.
I never really realized how close Neptune and my sun are together. Like
They are
that's
pretty close, which usually anytime I see Neptune aspecting anything, it's like, okay, you could totally over imbibe and be lost in the cosmos forever, right? Like,
Yeah.
but then
And
also,
thoroughly enjoy it.
yes, right. And so in your life, like, it will definitely be something that you'll kind of be looking for your own patterns, your own personal patterns, and realizing your
Yeah.
own things,
So
and you'll be eccentric with it, right?
would you say that Neptune close to a sun would create an addictive personality in
Yeah,
someone?
yes. Or a personality that um also has Neptune. So that would be like a glamorous, because Neptune gives a glamour. Your Uncle Noke has Neptune exactly on his ascendant. So that gives a
Yeah.
glamour, right? A larger than life, right? A uh I'm not male nor female is also what it gives in a way. It blurs things, right? So it will blur the I'm neither, right? You calling me eccentric? Yes, but no, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
this
What do you mean?
interesting, yeah. But it also gives you an ability to see the core and how everyone can be involved in a community, right? Like, there would be something like you politics and laws and religions, you will see the unspoken patterns of
Yeah.
the philosophical patterns of, and then see how everything is kind of two sides, same coin. You and I both have Neptune in the ninth, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
So that's like, we see cultures and the way that they friendship and their hopes and dreams, um and the underdog, right? We see how really everything's the same thing, just coding it different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a song that's so funny. There's a song from a TV show I watched as a kid called Adventure Time
What?
that I sing when just casually,
Yeah.
and the lyrics are just everything stays right where you left it, everything stays but it surely changes
Mhm.
ever so slightly, daily and nightly, everything stays. But it's just talking about like it's all the same, it all repeats itself, it's all
Mhm.
like what has happened will happen again, it's like that's the
Mhm.
it's interesting. That's just a thing that I just casually am aware of. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I love that it triggered something in your mind.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
means also that you shed light in philosophical spaces. You shed perspective on, oh, why people would want to be rebellious, right?
Yeah.
And you shed perspective on why philosophy is a rebellious act, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's this you could be a professor, right? You could be a teacher, but you have a 10th house Pisces with Uranus here, and Uranus is one of the rulers of Aquarius. So that means that your sun is also heavily influenced by this independent, musical, poetic, intuitive, martyr, bleeding heart vibe, right?
Yeah.
And it also gives a glamour, and then it also gives another philosophical bend here, another sort of musical uh sensitivity. And Uranus is also like eccentric music, so you'll like a plethora different kinds of it. um
Yeah. I listen to everything.
right, there is like and you like the diversity, right? Because Uranus is kind of where we embrace diversity, or where we embrace people being different, people being independent. It's also the place where we don't need society's approval of what we do. So you have the kind of in your career, you don't need anybody's approval on what you do with your legacy, but your legacy will have something to do with eccentric music, eccentric philosophical ideas, eccentric being a hero for people. So being a hero for the underdog and able to see and feel and intuit what's happening behind the scenes.
Interesting. Yeah. I can see
Right.
that.
Yeah. a Gemini rising too. So I do know a lot of people. So you have waterwork houses, which tells me that you have to be in the presence of people to properly feel motivated to work. There has to be
Yeah.
some kind of connection, some kind of I'm able to read the intuition in the room, the vibe in the room, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Study groups and coffee shops and all that.
Yeah,
It's very useful.
that's interesting. Your dad has the same thing and he can do the same thing. Oh, ninth house also has an eye on like justice, law, religion, right? So whatever it is that you do will shed light on those issues, you know?
I'll become the next Woody Guthrie.
Yeah,
No.
do that, right? Uh, but so yeah, so there's a strong bend towards Piscean and Aquarius things. So what does it all mean? How
Hmm.
do we include everyone? Um, how do we operate in a way where um everything is one at the end? Anyway, it was like ish. 11th house is Aries. That means your friends are Aries. You definitely have Aries. You love being around bold people. People
I
who
do.
stand out in a crowd, people who aren't afraid to wear red and drive fast.
Yeah, all my friends in high school were like the rebels and the car guys and the,
Yeah.
it's like let's skip school and ride in our fast cars.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
friend group.
Well, I mean, you have a double Aries mom, right? So that's kind of fun that it
Yeah.
falls into the friendship house for you. And then North Node, you're supposed to be like me,
Yay!
paving new pathways
I'm
for shit, right?
I'm supposed to drive fast cars.
Yeah, right. Fast cars, being bold with friends, right? Being a part of a community that is doing bold, new, fresh things is also what this would be.
Yeah.
We all have machetes and we all make pathways, right?
We're all landmines and competing with each other.
So yes, that is a good thing. Gemini rising, this means that you're double bodied. There's something about your ego and something about your soul, right? Something about that is double bodied. So that means that wherever you are, whoever you're talking to. So if you're talking to people and they lean heavily one way or another, like if you are with Republicans, you'll speak in Republican. If you are in
Yeah.
Democrat, you'll speak in Democrat. If you are in, so it doesn't matter what territory you're in, you know the story that's going on there, and then you know how to be a part of that story, or you can start, right? So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Conversation to me is just regional algorithms.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
just, the colloquialisms, the language. Like that's really like,
Yes. Yes. And this is
yeah.
where you like to keep your different people separate or like different,
Yeah.
right? That also seems to be a Pisces thing too. They like to keep things separate. There's a
Yeah,
separateness
yeah.
to it, because they don't want to hurt feelings. So if I keep
Yeah.
these things separate, then I don't have to think about this group being hurt or me being like this in this group, and then I hurt this person's feelings who's different, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely different. Also, Gemini rising outfits change constantly.
outfits change, yes, based upon what's popping right now. Yet Gemini is a storyteller, right? Likes to very witty, right? Super intelligent, very fast. Loves to read usually, and sometimes is good, often is good with numbers because they don't know,
Loves to read. Yeah.
right? And loves to read partnership stories.
Loves to
Oh,
read.
yeah, right. Loves to read enemies to lovers, right? In partnerships, because we have Mars and Pluto, which can give extreme enemy vibe, right? Somebody who I have to fight extremely. Some holds my ground.
Yeah.
So Mars and Pluto together gives extreme ability to focus on one thing when it is
Yep.
focused on one thing.
Yep.
This is an excellent marksman when it's hitting its mark and it's fully engaged.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. An extreme valor, right?
Mhm.
Extreme comedy, extreme dark humor.
Yeah.
And maybe likes a little bit of a extreme you know,
Extreme spice, is that what you're
extreme spice is what I'm alluding to.
learning? I will not confirm or deny. No, yeah, you're totally right.
What house is definitely involved when you
Oh
are
yeah. It's like, are we beating each other up? That's so romantic. It's
kind of hot right now. Yeah.
kind of great. Fight me to fight for is like the thing I say. That's like
Yeah.
that's definitely my thing.
Mhm.
Is like fight me to fight for me.
Yeah, I
It's
know, right? That Bridgerton much, right? Yeah, the Queen. Yeah.
make me cry.
Yeah.
Do what I dare you.
Yeah, Venus and Mercury in that eighth house. This means that people love to give you gifts. Other people's resources are your resources, but it also means that you like to be generous and maybe even like more than generous with people who you feel merged with, connected to. Like, can't
That's
say
true.
no, you know?
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mention it a lot, but I'm really clearly, I mean, seeing my chart, I'm a very intense person. I have a lot of like Capricorn, like
You know
yeah.
what it is too? So Saturn is the old-timey traditional ruler of both Aquarius and Capricorn. And your Saturn is in the ninth house of Cancer. So there's a Cancer overlay then to this
Yeah,
who likes to be the source of abundance, the
I do.
source of a love and attraction. What? Not like a Venus and Pisces mother who likes that in some way, right?
I just want to be Richard Gere from Pretty Woman, okay?
Yes.
I just
Yes.
desperately want to be him.
That is what it gives. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right.
it's yeah,
And
no,
this is
I'm
why
definitely
yeah, people think of you as Capricorn, right? Because your Venus is here and then she rules your Libra, right? And she rules your career, your legacy, right? So she rules these two things, which gives sort of like a darker vibe then. So the things that you are attracted to give a eccentric um eighth house obsessive
Mhm.
uh bleed romantically vampire. There's a vampire vibe here.
Yeah. I'm literally later tonight, I'm going to an all girls lesbian vampire Dungeons and Dragons game.
Perfect. And then can you play the Richard Gere character?
My character is a badass, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's,
And wears a different
uh,
outfit all the time because that's what you do.
actually, she wears the same outfit, but it's mini skirt, go-go boots, and then a like a crop top. That's but yeah. Yeah, no, I'm deeply it's funny you say that. I'm deeply and have been for a long time like infatuated and a little obsessed with like vampires. Like Anne Rice books are amazing. Like I love all of that. Like I love vampire movies, vampire literature. I love yeah, just the taboo. I love taboo dark romance.
Yeah,
That's definitely
right. Taboo
I
subject.
definitely I thoroughly enjoy that. I have such morbid curiosities with so many things. Or like really dark things used as metaphors for love,
Yes.
like sacrificing oneself or cannibalism, like just
Yeah.
things that are really dark and weird and out there and like no one understands it, that used as a metaphor for love, I will always thoroughly enjoy.
And
I
there's
definitely
that's brilliant because that's a double whammy. So you've got that Mars Pluto, which gives a Scorpio with sexy, and then you've got Venus in an eighth Plutonian, darker, taboo. So there's taboo with your Mars and taboo with your Venus and your Mercury, how you even process things.
I love dark shit. This is literally like taboo sci-fi fairy smut. That's,
Sounds amazing.
that's
When we know
what
I'm
this is.
yeah.
That's what the series is. I mean, it's Sarah J. Maas, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, but
I feel like it's kind of a superpower though that you're able to talk about dark. You're able to talk
yeah.
about it in a way that is appealing or brings harmony to an otherwise difficult understanding, difficult, like
Yeah. On the downside, what I've noticed as you're describing this, something that might be interesting is like, would this mean I'm also attracted to people who have really been through dark shit? Like,
yes, yes.
because that would make a lot of like make them damaged. Like,
Right. No, that's
if
unfortunately true. But at least you like them older. You know what I mean? Capricorn.
yeah, no, that's also true.
So maturity is at least nice. Yes, broken. Maybe you were broken and you've matured, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. On the bright side, I don't like it when they're currently going through something, but if they have
No.
a dark and mysterious past, I am in love with them.
Yes, exactly. Are you a person who has woken up to your enlightened self? That's hot, right?
I mean, yeah. It's like, do you have some kind of, can you like, yeah, I don't know. Oh God. Yeah, no, I just really like that dark.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
dark.
Dark is
Intense.
interesting.
I'm definitely an intense person. That's
Oh, it's real. It's because you have you had a Venus in Pisces 12th house. That's the incarcerated is attracted to and attracts the people who are prison in their own life somehow. It's like, oh,
you get
I'm
it.
sure I can set you free. Right.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Let me be the one to show you what love means.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, Leo moon. Usually if I don't have on any makeup, I will do eye makeup.
Yep.
Leo moon in the third house. That's like feels like a mother type figure to siblings, right? Third house siblings.
I'd say I am. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah. Feels
definitely
also feels at home with siblings. Because the moon demonstrates where you feel at home. So you feel at home with being a queen of your siblings. Now, that
That's
has
true.
always been true, right? Boom.
They are my subjects.
Yeah.
They're a part of my royal court.
Yeah. And I love
That's
that. Like, I mean, you were my right hand growing up in that way, right? So it was like, oh
that's
my
true.
God, I love
I was mini mom. That was for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I I still Josiah called me the other day and was like, "Hey, so
How do we do
I
college?
need help registering for fall classes for college. Can you help me?" Like
Right.
I get texts and calls from them all the time like that.
I
That's
know.
like
I love that so much.
yeah, they're my boys. I helped raise those kids.
Yeah. Right. Like, yes. You, yes. So there was like an
Yeah.
actual witness with it, right? And then
Mhm.
also there's an empathy here, right? There is an empathy and availability to put on other people's emotional skins. It's what helps write story, right? You
Yeah.
imagine. Whereas I have all that Aries, so I'm like, oh, I can't imagine
Mm.
what it would be like in that way. And that's how astrology can help me, right? Feel
Mhm.
like, of course, you would never, right? But oh, there's wood. And so this is others, like, so I like that. And so you have
Yeah.
the ability to
Yeah.
act like other people, right? Because Leo can act like other people, mirror other people. Um, And it's also, yeah, the sign of good with children, right? Leos are good with children. And Leos are naturally don't mind being in front, being on a stage, having their feelings be
That
seen.
is true.
Do you have dramatic feelings ever? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's strange because I can act very well, and like if I want to hide my emotions, I totally can.
Yeah.
But also, when I explode, I explode. It's
Yeah, it's that
like
Saturn.
when I
So
feel
there's
something strongly, I
delay.
feel something strongly. Yeah.
Right. There's a delay. There's a delayed reaction to feelings, to intuition. Like you have it in there solidly, but and you have epiphanies, right? There's like definitely like epiphanies available in your like 2 water placements. Oh, and the way you nurture yourself is water
See,
too.
okay, this is interesting. So I didn't know I had anything in Scorpio. I thought it was just the sixth house of day to day, which made sense for me because I am very intense and very secretive and analytical and like I
Yeah.
like to snoop around like day to day. That is very me. I don't
Yeah.
want people like I don't want people casually in my life to know
Talking you.
where I am, what I'm doing, how I'm thinking.
Right.
And that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But what are those? And I'm like, wait, I have things there.
What? All right. So you have
What?
Siri. This is how we like to be nurtured and how we nurture others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you like to nurture with dark, with magic, with tarot, with esoteric or those kind of
Yeah.
spiritual vibes, right? That's how you
I
nurture
do that.
yourself and
Yes.
how yeah, on the daily, right?
Oh, yeah. That's my immediate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I nurture for sure. Also, yeah, when someone says that they'd kill for me or like, oh yeah, no, like I'd help you bury a body. I'm always like, oh, you would?
That feels nurturing, right? You would extreme for me, with me. I extreme,
Mhm.
I extreme to myself, right? Is like also how
Yeah.
you nurture yourself. Um,
Yes.
something, yeah. And then vertex is like fated meanings that we have. So in your life, you're going to experience fated taboo meetings with others, fated sexual esoteric or all those Scorpio vibes, right? You're going to meet people with those Scorpio vibes who are going to have profound effects on you.
Interesting.
Yes. And people who are dealing with dark things, things they would like to keep hidden, right? This means people open up to you on the daily, right? Because Scorpio
True.
has that reflective quality. And
Yeah,
so,
to anyone who's seen or read Horns,
mhm.
um, I definitely have that thing of like someone like people when I first meet them or like when I'm just casually around people, the second that we're in somewhat of a private area or sometimes even just in public, people will just start like telling me their deepest darkest secrets and I just kind of sit there.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time, unprompted. It's happened unprompted. Like people will
Amazing.
just be like they'll just turn to me and be like, "Hey, so there's this thing," and I'm like, "Whoa, okay, cool."
Yeah, trauma dumping and yeah.
Yes, people trauma dump to me a lot, and I'm like, "What do you want? You want some tarot around that? What's going on?
And your
You
Gemini
want to pray
kind of
for a
loves it.
second?
Your
What's
Gemini is a
happening?"
little like, give me the hot goss. Thank you.
I like the tea.
Yeah.
I sometimes it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah. So having boundaries with that water, right?
Yeah.
Boundaries. So having like, something around you, wearing necklaces, right? So necklaces or things that act as sort of like talismans, right? That you have a story attached to in your head that says, when I wear this necklace, I have this boundary, right? Are things that you
Yeah. Yeah,
will benefit you in some way. Mm-hmm. Which you totally do.
I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally sweet. And you didn't even have an astrologer tell you that. You were just naturally doing it. So that's great, right?
I was just like, this makes sense. I need to do this.
Yeah. Yes, because water goes everywhere, right? There has to be a
Mhm.
container. So you have to figure out what how to contain other people from infringing into your spongy intuition, right?
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm learning.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
But you do love the dark. You live in the dark. You definitely have a knack for people telling you their dark things,
Yep.
things that they wouldn't tell anybody else, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I've
word.
heard that so much of like I've never said this, but this thing, and I'm like I've never said that out loud before. I'm like, interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we should probably get off. We could go like hours and
Yeah,
hours.
that's we've been.
If you and like so you the viewers, if ever you get a chance to know everybody's chart, God, mind that shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
know
a
that
fun way to
action.
connect.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, we thanks for the mutual reading. That was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It definitely gets long after a while though, right? Because it's like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I keep seeing, I keep seeing, I keep seeing.
Yeah, so much info.
Yeah. But I think my favorite part is I'll feel like I'm saying something in general, not landing somewhere, but then the person will be like, oh my God, I totally know what that means, you know,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
which is compelling. That is compelling.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that like these things, something about astrology that I find so interesting is that as much as people say how vague it is, and like as much as I genuinely just didn't believe in it for a long time, like once you really got into it and you started just like
Mm-hmm.
testing things out on me, it really came apparent that I was just like, oh, this stuff works. Like
Yeah.
there's merit here.
Right.
Like just walking into my room and being like, hey, have you ever experienced this? And me being like, how do you know about that? And you're just like, oh, in your chart, it's so you have this. Like, it's like, so Chiron's with your Venus. So like, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right. I know. Yeah, I know. As a parent, I definitely don't look at my kids' charts unless I have their permission. Um, or
Yeah.
yeah, and then I use the ability for good, not for snooping, but for like, oh, how can I help or encourage or oh, hey, I know this transit is
Well,
happening, so this will be a
you
you know,
use it as a way to understand your
yeah,
kids. And I think that is the right way to go about it. It's like you're looking to broaden your understanding, not to catch us in anything or like be weird about it.
right, to give like advice on advice for you, not advice as in like exactly what I would do or I should do or how I would go about it. It's more like,
Yeah.
oh hey, these are the themes. Be at peace with these themes. You know, like
Hmm.
um you could encourage yeah, that's what I think I like. Encourage them in the way that they
Yeah.
should go, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Good things.
Thank you so much for reading with me, for coming to my dire aid when I was like, I don't know what to talk about today. Thank
Anytime.
you. Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm sure it won't be the last time you're on this show. Thank you so much for being with me.
Until next time.
Until next time, this is the Team Aquarius signing off.
Signing off.
I like that you do the shoulder with it. Signing off.
Yeah, I like have to.
I know, right? All right. Bye.
Bye.